1982, North Carolina versus Georgetown. Time's winding down. Jimmy Black with a cross-court pass to a freshman at the time was named Mike Jordan. It was at that point where I looked at my grandmother and I said, I love basketball. Hi, I'm Chris Miller. I'm the television voice of the Washington Wizards. You are watching Voices. I think the very first voice that I can remember was Greg Gumbel. It was 1979 Michigan State against Indiana State. And I just remember he looked like me. And I remember thinking, this is cool to have an African American sit here with that NBC mic flag. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was probably the first time when I realized I think I wanted to be a sportscaster. It's funny, my career path actually started as a music major at Indiana State University, and that didn't last long because I realized there was no money in that. Okay, I was not going to be the fifth member of the Jackson 5. So a buddy of mine, I was in his dorm room, we were watching sports, and we were just talking. And I just started rattling off all these stats, which I had no idea where they came from. They were just in my head. And I'll never forget my friend by the name of Dale Foster told me I needed to change my major and I should be into sports broadcasting. And went and saw my advisor, Dave Sabini, God rest his soul, and he got me on the path to become a sports broadcaster, which actually started being a DJ, turning some albums from 9 to midnight on the weekends to help pay some bills, because at the time I was married with our first son. I never forget, I was given an opportunity in the mid-90s to go to Bob Costas' Sportscasters Camp in St. Louis, Missouri, where I met a guy by the name of Kevin Harlan, who tapped me on the shoulder. I was calling a St. Louis Cardinals game at the Sportscasters Camp, and he said I had a nice voice, he liked my delivery, and it was just that little bit of confidence he put into my ear is the reason why I'm sitting here right now doing this interview.
Chris Miller from Comcast Sportsnet.
What's up, Wizards Extreme? For 15 years, I was honored to be the sideline reporter, pre-game, post-game host, podcaster, beat reporter for the Wizards. And then the opportunity came up where the play-by-play job was open. And ironically, I was up for the job 3 years before that and didn't get it. Very disappointed, but I had some really good people in my corner that told me to keep fighting, keep doing my job, be professional. The opportunity might present itself again, and it did. And I remember at the time, my boss, who's the best boss I've ever worked for, called me and asked me if I wanted to be the television voice of the Washington Wizards. And to be real honest with you, I cried, because this is a dream job, to be one of 30, and to understand my journey and my path and to get here. It was, without a doubt, the best moment of my career, going into year 3, and it's still like a dream, waking up, getting ready to call an NBA game. You know, the old slogan back in the 80s is NBA is fantastic. We're calling games in the NBA is fantastic. Best call so far, it was Wizards versus the Bulls. It was Kyle Kuzma hitting a game-winning shot over his former Laker teammate, Alex Caruso. And I just remember kind of describing it. And 2 former Lakers going one-on-one. Kuz coming off the screen. Step back for 3. Oh, he hit it. I stood up. And there's like this video of me, and I just had my hands in my pockets. I don't know why I did that, but my producer was laughing. He's like, man, you were so cool. You had your hands in your pockets calling this. And it wasn't me trying to be cool. I just think that was just a moment for me to kind of be in the moment. It just so happened to have my hands in my pockets. I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I was a country kid, and I had that country swag. And I always wanted to not be regionalized. So I would always watch TV. I would always turn on, Ed Bradley, or I would listen to, Casey Kasem on the radio. And I would always hear all these different voices. and I would try to mimic them, and I was trying to find, well, what's my voice? And I would say probably the last 10 years, I've really been able to kind of figure out my voice and not trying to sound like someone else. And that's really been key for me. So if I could give advice to young people, is to listen to all the voices, not maybe all the voices in your head, but the voices that you hear, and try to find your own and make it your own. The best part of my job is working with my team. It's a team sport. I've always said this: if I eat, you eat, we all eat. And I think when a collaboration of people get together and they make a product and the product is good, that's the best part of it, is being in a group and a team that really looks out for each other. And the ultimate goal is put the best product on the floor. To be one of the few African Americans to be the television voice of an NBA franchise, it's huge. I stand on the shoulders of some great men and women to help me get to this point, and I can't thank them enough. And I think the best way to honor them is every night when I put that microphone on, I always kind of like just look up, touch my heart, because this is truly a blessing. This country kid from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, I wasn't supposed to be here, but I'm here and I'm not going anywhere.